Did you know not every Power Ranger is always a hero? Some have crossed the line, fighting against their own allies, even turning against the very good they once swore to protect. In this video, we'll reveal every change of allegiance in Ranger history, from courageous heroes to the most unexpected villains, and their dramatic journeys of redemption. Get ready to uncover secrets, betrayals, and epic plot twists you never saw coming. If you're a fan of Power Rangers and Super Sentai, like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any content. Thank you for 2,000 subscribers. Long before the events of Mystic Force, there was a great war between the Wizards of Light and the Forces of Darkness. Leanbow was the greatest warrior of the Army of Good, husband to Udana, and father to a baby named Bowen, who we later discover is Nick, the Red Ranger. To defeat the enemy once and for all, Leanbow made the ultimate sacrifice. He entered the underworld alongside the forces of evil and helped seal the gate that connected it to the surface. He saved the world, but became trapped on the other side. There, Leanbow was taken over by the Master of Darkness. Corrupted, he lost his memory and became Koragg, the Wolf Warrior. To everyone, including Udana, Leanbow was dead. Years later, when the seal began to weaken, Koragg was among the first to emerge. Powerful and relentless, he even defeated Udana and stole her staff, showing just how dangerous he was. Still, he showed signs of honor, at times hesitating in decisive attacks or fighting fairly, hints that his true identity still lingered within. The truth was revealed in the heir apparent episodes. Koragg was in fact Leanbow. The Rangers' greatest enemy was the legendary hero they thought was dead, and Nick's own father. From that moment, Leanbow faced an internal battle. On one side, dark magic still pulled him as Koragg. On the other, his love for his family and the truth of who he was began to restore him to goodness. In the climax, Leanbow purified himself and became the Wolf Warrior once again, now fighting for good. Later, the Master transforms Nick into a new Koragg, adding him to the list, as the Red Ranger was temporarily corrupted and became a villain as well. After an intense battle, Leanbow removed his armor and with words of love, freed his son from the dark control. In the end, Leanbow joined the final battle against the Master and helped defeat him with the magic of light, sealing his place forever as a hero of good. Karone was born on the planet KO-35 and as a child was close to her brother Andros, both dreaming of becoming heroes. When she was still young, she was kidnapped by evil hunters and taken away from her family, forever changing the course of her life. After the abduction, Karone was handed over to a dark general and raised far from home. Her childhood memories were gradually erased, and she was given a new name and purpose: to become a warrior in service of evil. This man became a father figure to her, which is why she trusted him and took a long time to realize the truth about herself. As time passed, Karone grew up and was trained to lead the forces of darkness. She became known as Astronema, the Princess of Evil, receiving resources, a fortress, and an army. Shaped to hate and destroy in the name of her supreme master, she became the main antagonist, leading invasions and battling the Rangers multiple times, including her own brother Andros, who was the Red Ranger. The turning point came in the final confrontation against the forces of evil during the last episode of Power Rangers in Space. In a battle between siblings, Astronema attacks the Red Ranger with a blast of energy that is reflected back to her body, seemingly killing her. Andros carries her sister's body out of the ship, and his tears fall upon her. In that moment, Astronema dissolves, and Karone regains her identity, choosing freedom. In the following season, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Karone even takes on the role of the Pink Ranger, symbolizing her acceptance of repentance and the possibility of transformation. From victim to villain, and finally to hero, her journey is a story of manipulation, choices, and the chance to start anew. Ollie Akana's story begins in Power Rangers Dino Fury. In the first episode, we see him as a young man accustomed to traveling with his archaeologist mother. His involvement begins in Pine Ridge, where he investigates the mystery of the Dino Hinge. The turning point comes when Ollie faces the villain Void Knight to to prevent a dangerous object from being stolen. At that moment, he and other young people receive the powers of the Rangers, and Ollie becomes the Blue Ranger. This role throws him into battles against the forces of evil, demanding courage and growth. He begins to apply his intelligence practically, taking on responsibilities far greater than he ever expected when he was simply a curious skeptic. His fall to the villain side happens only in cosmic fury. Manipulated by Lord Zed, Ollie falls under mind control, and his suit is altered, turning him into the evil Blue Ranger. In this phase, he attacks his own friends and uses his abilities against his own principles. This transformation is not of his own choosing, but the result of losing autonomy imposed by the enemy. In Episode 7, when the Triceratops statue is destroyed by explosives, Zed's modifications to Ollie's mind are disabled, breaking the control and allowing him to regain consciousness. However, for a short period, he pretends to still be allied with Lord Zed, only to pass information about the villain's plans to his Ranger friends. He redeems himself not just with words, but by fighting once again alongside his friends. In the end, Ollie returns as a hero, with a deeper understanding of freedom and responsibility. Trent enters the story as an ordinary student at Reefside High, adopted by scientist Anton Mercer after the death of his parents. He is a calm young man, interested in art and a simple life, working at a cafe. This background shows Trent as connected to family and routine, not a hero by nature. The turning point comes in Episode 11, when Trent accidentally enters an invisible passage and finds himself inside the enemy's fortress. There, he discovers the White Gem that grants the power of the White Dino Ranger. When bonded to the gem, Trent becomes the White Ranger, but the gem and its location are tied to the plans of a powerful villain, and the source of this power carries a corrupting influence. Soon after transforming, Trent is consumed by the gem's power. His personality changes, he becomes aggressive, and he begins fighting the other Rangers. His appearance becomes fully threatening, with black armor details and a red visor. In his very first encounter with the Rangers, he attacks them with his white Drago sword. Remarkably, he gains super speed, moving so fast that even the Rangers can't see him. During this period, Trent becomes the main antagonist of the White Thunder trilogy. Despite being the White Ranger, his actions serve the villain's agenda rather than his own values. Trent doesn't choose evil, he's corrupted by the source of his power. Everything changes when the Life Extractor's energy is dispersed, destroying the evil within the Dino Gem and freeing Trent from that dark control. It is later revealed that his adoptive father, Anton Mercer, was the season's villain. Dr. Anton and Mesogod were two distinct personalities sharing the same body, in a classic Jekyll and Hyde style. With help and his own resolve, Trent regains control of his gem, uses its power for good, and saves his father from the mutation that made him an enemy. Trent loses his powers as the White Ranger during the final battle with Mesogod. Still in Power Rangers Dino Thunder, we have other transformations of Rangers into evil beings, this time in a crossover episode with characters from the previous season, Power Rangers Ninja Storm. In Episode 31 of Dino Thunder, the villain Lothor disguises himself as the Ninja Storm Rangers sensei and uses corrupted morphers to brainwash the blue, yellow, and red Rangers, turning them into allies of evil. This forces the Dino Thunder Rangers to step in and help fight against these corrupted warriors. By the end of Episode 31, we witness the first confrontation between the two teams, which, by coincidence or fate, share the same colors: blue, red, and yellow. In this first clash, the evil Wind Rangers emerge victorious. In Episode 32, the villains from both seasons unite: Lothor and Mesogog. However, Cameron Watanabe, the Green Samurai Ranger and son of the real sensei, discovers what happened and gives the corrupted Rangers a device that shuts down the mind control. Once the confusion is cleared, the two teams join forces to face the true villains. The final battle is legendary, bringing together an incredible lineup of 11 Rangers to fight against the enemy army. The Dino Thunder team consisted of red, yellow, blue, white, and black Rangers. The Wind Rangers were red, yellow, blue, Green Samurai, and the two Thunder Ninjas, Crimson and Navy. The battle becomes epic, including the transformation of both Red Rangers into their respective battleizer modes. Together, the two teams prevail and defeat the threat. Tommy Oliver was a skilled young martial artist who moved to Angel Grove and soon became involved with the Power Rangers, unaware that the villainous Rita Repulsa was planning to manipulate him. Seeing his potential, Rita turned him into the Green Ranger, granting him special powers and the Dragon Zord, but keeping him under her magical control. Under this spell, Tommy fought against his own friends, nearly defeating them on several occasions, without realizing he was on the wrong side. The turning point came when the Sword of Darkness, which channeled his powers and kept him under Rita's control, was destroyed by the Red Ranger in episode 21. With the sword gone, Tommy regained his consciousness and broke free from Rita's magic. At that moment, he stopped being a villain and joined the Power Rangers, though he temporarily kept his Green Ranger powers. Eventually, in the second season of Mighty Morphin, Tommy lost his Green Ranger powers and could no longer transform. Although it seemed Tommy's time as a Ranger was over, Zordon had other plans for him. Recognizing his courage, loyalty, and proven leadership potential, Zordon granted him a new power, the power of the White Light. This time, there was no spell or link to Rita's dark magic. It was a pure and stable power, permanently marking his place on the side of good. By becoming the White Ranger, Tommy not only rejoined the team, but took on the role of leader, guiding the other Rangers through even greater battles and solidifying his importance to the team. Tommy Oliver's story is a clear transformation, from a manipulated young fighter and temporary villain to a conscious hero and leader of the Power Rangers. Merrick Bolleton is one of the most complex characters in Power Rangers history, with a story of sacrifice, corruption, and redemption. In episode 15 of Wild Force, we learn that his story began over 3,000 years ago when he was one of the 6 ancient warriors, defenders of Anna Maria Island. As a guardian, Merrick fought to protect peace and serve his comrades. In a decisive battle against the powerful Master Org, he wore a cursed mask that granted him great strength, but at the cost of his freedom. This mask transformed Merrick into Zen Aku, the Wolf Org, imprisoning his will and corrupting his spirit. Recognizing the danger, his allies sealed Merrick away in a long slumber to prevent his corrupted form from causing destruction. Millennia later, specifically in episode 10 of Power Rangers Wild Force, Merrick was unintentionally freed by forces of evil and returned to the world, still under the mask's influence. As Zen Aku, he became a formidable enemy of the Power Rangers, driven by vengeance and rage. Still, fragments of his true consciousness as Merrick occasionally surfaced, especially in interactions with Princess Shayla, suggesting that part of his original identity remained, as seen in episode 13. His battle was both physical and emotional, as Merrick still carried within him the desire to protect, even while enslaved by his dark form. Merrick's redemption came when the Rangers discovered his true identity and fought to break the curse. With the mask's destruction during a Zord battle in episode 16, Merrick regained his consciousness. Even so, he carried the weight of guilt, choosing to live in self-exile. At one point, he was captured by villains and beaten until his old animal crystals returned to him, granting him the Lunar Collar and the power to transform into the Lunar Wolf Ranger. Though he continued to live in self-exile, Merrick always helped the Rangers when needed. Over time, he could no longer avoid drawing near to the heroes and eventually accepted them as friends. Unlike the other Rangers on this list, Kai Chen and Damon Henderson don't fall under mind control. Instead, they suffer physical control over their bodies. In Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Kai and Damon are the Blue and Green Rangers, respectively. In episode 19, they face the villain Deviat, who defeats and captures them. When they wake up, they realize they have devices locked around their necks. These devices give Deviat control over their bodies and actions, meaning that even if they don't want to, their bodies attack on his orders. The villain explains that the energy the Rangers produce during battle is enough to power his Zords. For this reason, he forces them to fight each other. The two battle intensely until exhaustion overcomes them and and they collapse to the ground. Deviat allows them to rest, telling them that once they regain their strength, they must return to fight so the energy continues to fuel his Zords. Soon after, they resume fighting until the Green Ranger gains the upper hand, leaving the Blue Ranger lying on the ground. Deviat orders the Green Ranger to kill his comrade, claiming that this would generate the perfect energy to complete his plan. However, in an almost superhuman effort, the Green Ranger redirects his sword toward the villain's device, destroying it. This destroys the control collars and frees their bodies from Deviat's influence. They manage to escape and reunite with their fellow Rangers, who join forces to fight the villain. In the end, it was a brief but intense control over their bodies that forced them to act in service of evil and generate energy. But fortunately, it only lasted a short time. Ryan Mitchell's story as the Titanium Ranger is marked by tragedy, manipulation, and redemption, making him one of the most memorable characters in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. His journey begins in childhood, when he suffered a serious car accident with his sister Dana and his father, Captain Mitchell. Their vehicle hung over a cliff. His father managed to save Dana, but Ryan fell. At that moment, Diabolico, a powerful demon, appeared and offered to save the boy in exchange for raising him. His father agreed to save his son, and Ryan was taken away, disappearing from his family's life for many years. Raised under Diabolico's influence, Ryan grew up believing his father had abandoned him. Fueled by hatred and trained by the demon, he became a skilled warrior prepared to face the Power Rangers, the very team his father mentored. In episode 11, now 20 years old, Ryan returned to Mariner Bay, stole the Titanium Morpher, and became the Titanium Ranger, attacking the team as an enemy. Driven by vengeance, he believed he was fighting against paternal betrayal, becoming a formidable adversary determined to destroy the Rangers. The truth, however, was revealed. His father had never abandoned him. Captain Mitchell explained the facts of the accident, showing he had acted to save both children. This revelation shattered his beliefs and exposed Diabolico's manipulation. Freed from control, Ryan chose to redeem himself, reclaiming his place alongside his family and the Rangers. The Morpher was returned to him, and Ryan began fighting truly for good. This redemption came at a cost. Before his defeat, Diabolico cursed Ryan with the snake tattoo, a living mark that advanced toward his heart each time he transformed, threatening his life. Still, Ryan accepted the burden of this curse to protect his friends, sometimes stepping away to face it alone. Eventually, Ryan found the original snake and destroyed the curse, freeing him to transform without risk. As the Titanium Ranger, he used his strength, courage, and intelligence to fight evil, piloting the powerful Max Solar Zord and wielding the titanium laser. His story is not only about battle, but about overcoming hardship, forgiveness, and the conscious choice to fight for good, leaving a lasting legacy in the Power Rangers saga. The members of the A-Squad were considered the elite of the Space Patrol Delta, SPD, an intergalactic organization dedicated to protecting Earth and the galaxy. In the early episodes of the series, they were seen as the most competent defenders, sent on high-risk missions to combat interplanetary threats. However, this image of heroes was shattered when it was revealed that after a mission to protect the Helix Nebula, the A-Squad disappeared and later returned as traitors, aligning themselves with the Trubian Empire led by Emperor Groom. The A-Squad's transition from heroes to villains was not the result of external manipulation or corruption, but a deliberate choice. Feeling undervalued and neglected by the SPD, the A-Squad members chose to desert and join the side of evil, seeking power and recognition under Groom's command. This decision marked one of the first times in the Power Rangers franchise where an entire team of Rangers became villains by choice, without external influences such as mind control or manipulation. After their betrayal, the A-Squad returned to Earth with the goal of capturing SPD commander Anubis Kruger and establishing the Trubian Empire's rule. They faced the B-Squad, the new team of Rangers formed after their disappearance, in a decisive battle. In episode 38, the A-Squad was defeated and its members arrested, with the B-Squad officially taking over as Earth's defenders.